Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about drum performance type of stuff that you can get out of your hardware or software and techniques behind it to make it just feel a bit more humanistic. And I will be showcasing it with the MPC One platform, but these techniques or this technique can be applied to any drum machine or software type of stuff. You just have to know what to look for in order to apply this technique. So Memes and I have been working on a synthwave album, and we've basically been using the Cobalt 5S for the sounds and the drums from the new expansion pack, Syntactical Expression, that we released basically a week or so ago. And I realized it would be cool to showcase how the drums are being done in this particular way, because it's very creative and fluid feeling. Like you don't feel locked into one particular thing, and there's a lot of flexibility to create that feel behind it. But it is one of these things where the more you put into it, the more you get out of it. It's not like hit one button and suddenly you have this flexibility. You do have to put in the work to be able to get to the point where you can then perform. So let's get to it. So one thing that's different is I am using the software version of the MPC platform. Normally I just use hardware by itself and then record it directly into Ableton if I want to do like a DAW based type of thing. But in this particular scenario, it's actually been decent using the software. There's some quirks with the software that I don't like. Like for instance, you can't just hit overdub while it's playing. You have to go into the software for that, which I don't know, that's kind of weird. But aside from the quirks of the software, it has been nice using it in conjunction with Ableton. So this is in MIDI controller mode, and a USB cable is just connected, so there's no audio coming out of the MPC One by itself, but it is in the computer. But again, it does not require you to be on a computer or anything like that for this technique. I'm just showcasing it this way because that's how we've been doing it for this particular project. So let's load up the expansion pack. And I've been using Synthetic Emotions a lot. So I'm gonna load this one. Maybe we'll load your here too. So kit 1. And then, whoops, kit 2. That is what we're working with at the moment. And if you don't know, you can buy Syntactical Expression off our website. So teftinememes.com, links in the description below. So let's talk about some theory behind this. The flexibility of the MPC is that you can have basically an entire track on one track. You know, I can make an entire beat out of this drum program right here and have it all on track 1, which is great because that means, you know, the polyphony and the ability to have all that MIDI is very robust in the MPC. But it also means that if I want to split it apart and mute stuff, I'm limited, or basically don't have the capability of doing that if I have a full beat going on just one track. So the idea behind this is you want to set up mutes that are going to let you control the beat as it goes by, so you can then perform it into a DAW or into a recorder or anything like that. You know, again, it doesn't have to be the DAW. It could be performing a particular hardware jam directly into a Zoom recorder or something like that to capture the performance, because the idea behind this is performance. You want a certain feel like you are actually performing the drums. I mean, you're not obviously performing the drums, but you're performing the drums in the intention of where you want it to flow through the track. Let's up the tempo. Let's maybe go like 135 or something like that. I'm gonna put the click on in Ableton. And for the MPC, I do have to set up the bars on here. Like right now it comes default at 2 bars. I usually go 4 or 8, depending. So let's just start out with 4 at the moment. And this is the quirk with the MPC software. I do have to click the overdub in the MPC software. I can't click it right here, which sucks, but is what it is. So basic kick and snare type of thing set up. Next, I would want some sort of hi-hat in there for energy. So track 2. So I'm gonna go to track 2 for this. So as you can see, track 2 on the MPC, I'm still using Synthetic Emotions kit. But now I'm going to be triggering a separate set of MIDI on track 2 that is going to be hi-hat percussion type of stuff. Okay, that's track 2, hi-hats. Now I should name these for you guys because, you know, it's better to see it visually that that's hi-hats. When I'm actually doing these tracks, I usually never name the tracks because I have it in my mind of what track is what. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to name this stuff so we don't get too confused here. Track 2 is hi-hat. Track 1 is kick and snare. I should actually name it something else because it's like the foundation, foundational rhythm, because the theory behind this stuff, like if you're a drummer, you're going to feel regular time, cut time, a half tempo type of stuff. And that's the idea behind the program that you need to do, or the more effort that you put into programming, the more options you're going to have for an actual performance for when you record it or do it live. Kick and snare on track 1, hi-hat on track 2. And then let's start adding some flourishes in there. Like we have a clap right here. We have another snare right here. We could also use the other kit if we want. Let's do this clap and snare type of thing. So. Clap extra. At this point, I think I'm going to double the track length. So I'm going to go from 4 bars to 8 bars total, because another thing is I don't want too much repetition for things that stick out. The kick and snare, like that's foundational. Hi-hats are foundational as well. But as soon as you start adding like little effects, percussion type of things, they can stick out if they're too repetitious. So at this point, like I said, I like to go to 8 bars to then maybe have this one start at the top. Let's go. And then maybe something else over here. I'm gonna edit these real quick because I think they stick out a little bit. Let's like drop the pitch. Adjust the volumes as well. Cool. Call this effects. Okay, so if we look at our track mutes, we've got 4 kind of like bass structure tracks right there. That's a good start. But what we need is some additional things that create energy. With a track, it usually has like your bass line or your standard energy, and then a chorus or a hook is going to have more energy that kicks in right there, and then a breakdown is obviously stripping things away and making it like sparse or something like that. So let's work on getting something of that nature going here. So track 5, actually I'm going to make track 8 extra hi-hats. So I'm going to go the note repeat. Okay, so that was 8 bars, so there's a little bit more variation in there as well. And what I was doing was holding the hi-hat, pressing it, and like pulsing it, and then also throwing in alternate hi-hats to get some variation in there. If you've been using the MPC for a while, then that's an obvious trick. But that's what I was doing. So I'm gonna call this 16ths, because this is a higher energy track. So for instance, if I take off the hi-hats, and then also, let me take off the click for Ableton. So now it's like calm hi-hats, higher energy. So that's the idea behind this technique that we're building up here. So what we need now is a few other elements that can kind of like shape things. So track 5, let's see. Let's go to our other kit. Yeah, like this. So kind of some tonal effect type of thing. Right there. Tom, I guess we'll call that. Tom, yeah. We need some other stuff. We're going to create an offbeat hat as well. Because the other one was chick, 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 chick. This one is going to be unch, unch, unch. Okay, so we're calling those off hats. I would like to adjust the volume of this down a bit. Also, I think it needs some sort of effect too. So let's go to the effects in the actual program right here. If you don't know, you can go program edit and then make sure you have the individual pad selected. So A09, and then you go to effect right there, and then you can mangle it. Yeah, something like that. More space. Okay. I got a little tripped up there. I had overdub on, I started muting things, and then I started recording that. If you guys ever get into that situation where it keeps on muting and unmuting things and you don't know what's going on, you go into the list edit and then go to the particular track, and then you can delete any kind of mute information that could be happening on there in the list edit. So, little tip from the trenches. Anyways, where was I? So, we were making tracks, right? We have another track right here that we can add for some additional effect type of things. So let's do that. Let's go track 6, and I think yeah, this type of percussion-y stuff would be great in here. So I think I'm gonna do that. Both of these actually. I'm gonna turn these down. I don't think we need them that loud. Turn this down as well. Cool. So I'm going to focus on these 3 to do some affecting. Actually, we should call this, I guess, cymbals. They're kind of cymbals, but for the sake of the example, we'll call it cymbals. Now this one, go back to You Are Here kit. You know what, actually I'm not going to do track 9 for that. I'm going to do track, let's go 12 for this. Because I'm going to save track 9 for half tempo drums. Because I'm going to do those as well. And then maybe like 4 to the floor, and then maybe 10, pad 10 will be half tempo. We'll find out. So, okay. So track 12, we're gonna do some percussion-y type of stuff. So again, because it's 8 bars, giving a bit more variation in there for all this to be looping, and then I can trigger it on and off as needed. So let's call it a glitch sound FX, glitch effects. They're not really glitch effects, but we'll call it that for now. I'm gonna mute the kick and snare that we have currently. By the way, I am clipping my master bus on here. I didn't want to adjust it halfway through because it could affect the volume level of stuff. But normally I would adjust that down later on in the mix or something like that after I've written some stuff so I could balance audio. But just a quick FYI on there. Yeah, so I think we're gonna do a 4 to the floor on pad 9 and then halftime on pad 10, which will be a different kick as well. Actually, maybe we'll do pad 5 for this. For the 4 to the floor. Let's try it. You know, we're experimenting anyway, so. I'm gonna edit this kick real quick, take out some of the release. Change it to note on, so then you have an envelope that you can work with. That should be better. Great. So to recap on that, I took that kick and I shortened the release on there. Okay, so we got a 4 to the floor type of thing going on. That's also 8 bars, so it has some variation in there. And now we're gonna mute that, and then we're gonna go to track 10 for a half tempo type of kick snare. And use this. Something like that. My kick was off on there. Right there. Nudge that over. Let's edit this sample real quick also. It's currently F. I think we need it to be A. Yeah. I mean, that works. That works for now. The idea behind this is that we're creating some variations for the energy and the tempo. So we'll call this one a half tempo. Call this one 4 to the floor. So what we have here now is this layout to perform some drums for an actual track. But what we don't have is an actual track to perform to. So right now it's just a theory. Because like technically you can mute all this, hit play, and then be like, bring in some hats, okay? And then some clap extra. Maybe some effects as well. Cymbals, you know? Little tom thing. And then 4 to the floor. Like, okay. And then our original kick snare. Now we're gonna throw in 16s. Throw in the glitch effects. And then we'll get rid of the kick and snare. I'm getting lost in the sauce at the moment, but that's the idea right there. Future Tefty here. I realized afterwards that making an entire track for this example was going to make this video extremely long, so I decided to just cut that part and go straight to the end here. But the idea is basically what you just saw. If there was a track behind there, then you would be able to perform to the energy of the track with the drum programming that you already set up. I should also note that I didn't do any loose timing or anything like that. Everything was heavily quantized, so this is just an example beat to kind of give you the idea of whatever track you're making, whether it's a trap beat or like a house beat or drum and bass, all of it can really apply to this technique. And one more additional note is that the MPC platform works out really well with this because of how the track and MIDI information is laid out, but it does not have to be the MPC. It can be a regular drum machine, or you can use MIDI mutes in Ableton Live or whatever DAW. Sky's the limit. You just have to think about how this technique would apply to your platform. So what do you think? Do you already do something like this essentially when you're building tracks? I'd love to hear it. Drop your tips, techniques down in the comments below. Would love to read them. This has definitely been one of my favorite ways to work with the MPC to kind of create variations in drums and performances. And we've naturally been doing something similar like this when it comes to our hardware jams. It's just, again, when you go the extra mile to build in more variations into a kit, I'm using over half the pads here to create these, the performance here. So you do have to put some time into thinking about which elements you want to split out to be able to mute and all that stuff. That is the video. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. If you want to check out our expansion pack, Syntactical Expression, it is on our website. It is 20% off until October 1st. It does support the channel, supports what we do. Got a Cobalt 5S review in the works, so that'll be coming real soon to the channel. Obviously a like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff really helps out with the video. But yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Deuces.